sitting on 9 acres of land worth up to £9 million. But the future of the club, and indeed local football, is in doubt as the FA plan to disband the current division, the United Counties League Premier Division. There are currently 14 leagues at step 5 of the non-league, and the FA want to cut this number down to 12. Lifelong fan James Warrener says the decision hasn't been well thought out.
The teams in Peterborough can be dumped into an eastern county, then that's fine, because you could play March, you could play Wisbech, you could play Ely, but as Abbo rightly pointed out, you could be going to deepest, darkest Suffolk, and it's logistically, it just seems like a decision that's been made, at Wembley without any, real practical experience of how the history of the league, for starters, and how, it works in the local communities.
So with an uncertain future for local football, what will happen to the club and the land it's based on? Joining us now is the Club Life President, Jeff Lenton. We can speak to him now. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Nice to talk to you. So we heard earlier from James speaking very passionately about the club. Can you tell us a bit more about what the FA is proposing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's across the United Counties League Prem Division, about 21 clubs at the moment. And if the FA's proposal to restructure the league at step 5, which is where that goes through on their current basis, effectively 10 or 11 of those clubs go into this Eastern Division. And the knock-on effect of that is a significant increase in our costs to fulfil fixtures, particularly away fixtures, of 82%. So that's an incredible increase in costs. It means, I think, something like an additional 1,500, 2,000 miles a year of travelling. We're trying to reduce carbon footprints.
Do you think, Jeff, hand on heart, do you seriously think that if this does go ahead and you're kind of expected to make these journeys, that it will just mean, actually, no, you can't, you have to down tools and forget it?
It's a definite possibility. We've all got to face these issues. Some clubs are better positioned. They're more commercially orientated to actually perhaps take it on board and work towards meeting those additional costs. Other costs just won't fold. Other clubs will just fold. As simple as
also,
that.
Though, but with your concerns, Jeff, and then if you're saying other clubs will fold as well, can't these clubs all get together? And can't you do what you're criticising the FA have not been able to, i.e. come up with a credible plan to make it more user-friendly for all of these local clubs to still function?
Yeah, and in fact, I think there are actually proposals on the table to the FA that have actually been presented to the FA for their consideration. I think this is probably part of the issue for clubs in the UCL front. And it's not just the United Counties leagues; it's the other leagues, neighbouring leagues that are affected as well. The Eastern Division, or the Regions League, as they call it, lower stop travelling to SNL Corby midweek. It works two ways. But yeah, there are proposals on the table. It's a sledgehammer to crack a nut. There isn't a major issue. It's thought about by two things: 14 leagues feeding into 6 higher leagues. It doesn't work. Occasionally, every now and again, one club cannot get promoted. But usually what happens in a season is two or three clubs go into administration receivership. Some people, even winners of our league, do not want to get promoted. They're not ready to get promoted. So if they win, they don't want the promotion. So it's not really a major issue. And, that's part of the problem.
So we'll move on from the FA to something a little bit more specific to you, closer to home, i.e. the value of the land. It's a little bit like a kind of script for an Ealing comedy now. Are you surprised at the value?
No, not at all. But let's put it this way: it's a hypothetical value, because effectively what happens is the club owns 9 acres of land, and it's on the edge of the village. And if that land were to become residential development land at a nominal figure of, say, £1 million an acre, which is unreasonable, the land would be worth £9 million. That's where that figure's come from. Is it going to happen? I don't think so in the next 10, 15 years, if it ever happens. But yes, it could.
Okay, well, look, stay there, because we might come back to you in a second, but we're also joined by Clive Thorn, who's the Vice Chairman of the Yaxley Parish Council. Good morning, Clive.
Good morning.
So what would it mean to Yaxley to lose the football club?
To lose the football club, to lose it completely? Well, let's put it to you that we've 23 teams using our facilities in Yaxley, and they look to the Cuckoos, as it were, as a target. I mean, they look up to them, and various lads and so on would probably see themselves playing for the mighty Cuckoos, and of course it will affect it. It'll affect their pride. The finances of the Cuckoos I don't know too much about, but I know that they've spent mega money over the last few years to set this club and facility going, and it's a very fine facility for the village.
Well, Clive, wait there, because we'll go back to Jeff and ask about the finances of the club, because we talk about this potential sort of, golden egg of the £9 million that the area could be worth.
Well, that's hypothetical.
Yeah, but Jeff, what's the value? What's the club looking like finances as is?
Well, as a going concern, the club just about managed to keep its head above water. I mean, with the new facilities, etc. It costs us around about £3,500 to £4,000 a month just to keep the place operating. Heating, all those sorts of things. Everything that goes into actually operating the club. If you're going to maintain, you've got that investment into that sort of facility, you've got to have a plan to go forward. And our plan was to stay in the United Counties League Premier League, build a stable financial base until we're ready to go on to the next level of football, which is what our level of football is all about. You've got the choice to sit there and plan for the future, or you stay where you are, or you go back down. The point being is, if we plan, we're in control of that. That's being taken away from us, and we're being dictated to by the FA, who've got no idea what it's all about.
Well, talking about the FA, then, we did have this. We contacted the FA to ask if someone could come on, but they sent us this statement. They say the FA will review their recent series of consultation meetings across the country before deciding on any possible changes. Now, that seems a little vague, even from our perspective, but what can you make of even that limited response, Jeff?
Well, if that's an honest response, and a true and meaningful response, and not just sound bites to pacify everybody, that's wonderful. But the review of it is, the chap who runs this committee, Mike Appleby, who's the league and clubs manager of the FA, he actually was on record of saying on radio a few weeks ago that actually this is a good thing because it gives Step 5 clubs an exposure to the next level of football and the costs that are involved in it. Well, that's true, and it will do, because you would think that the next level costs are actually higher. As it turns out, under the current proposal that's on the table, suggestion quite what they will, actually the costs at the lower level are higher than they are at the next level. Where's the sense in that? It's absurd.
Jeff, thank you for talking to us, Club Life President Jeff Lenton, and we'll keep us updated on the story, and we wish you the best. We can just return back to Clive Thorn, Vice Chairman of the Yaxley Parish Council. If the site was sold, then Clive, it could be good for Yaxley, couldn't it?
This can be very debatable because it is on the very edge of the fens, and I think there would be a lot of resistance to it from the planners. So, as I say, I think it's hypothetical, but who can tell? One never knows what's around the corner. Actually, where the football club sited, it is a natural barrier between the fens and the uplands. So
it's a case of watch this green space then. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's very hypothetical, but as I say, experience has told me that different things can happen. You can never tell.
Okay, Clive, thank you for talking to us. That's Clive Thorn, Vice Chairman of the Yaxley Parish Council. Any views on that? Do please get in touch with you. We'll send through the contact details in a moment. But first, one of the major credit rating agencies